stories. So at the beginning we talked about the concept of retreating, which is connected with retreating to a space, making a journey inside where there is the promise. A movement which we do instinctively because we know in our blood and in our bones that this is there for us in this deeper and deepening connection with ourselves, in this journey inward to who we are. And we gave some signposts in a way, along the way. Each one of tremendous beauty has a stopping point in itself. The silence, which is the background to all thought, to all expression, to all speaking. The silence which in itself transforms, it's alive. It receives anything into itself. And out of it arises thought, feeling. And we talked about the qualities of silence, that we can have an angry silence, from a source of anger, for example, which will be the soil for angry thoughts. We can have a silence if we connect our feeling of love to the silence can become suffused with love. And by itself, loving thoughts and ideas are born from that. And in its purity and strength, it can be the silence of peace. Peace, which is the infinite, eternal resource and the background to everything which is happening or being thought, and to every war which is being fought, there is a background of peace. The peace is there anyway. We fight in a struggle to find peace. Sometimes we destroy. People can have whole lifetimes of destruction to find peace.
Referring to anyone in particular?
My
Any
brother
particular
actually.
region in the world, by any chance?
Basha Asad. Good morning.
Good morning.
Sorry that we were early.
Sorry, we were on time.
In a way, on the level of the mind, the opposite of war or fight or conflict in the mind is surrender. To surrender to the silence. But the peace is always there. We just need to surrender to the depth of that. It's behind the conflict. Yesterday we began a journey of retreating on the level of feeling through the forests or landscapes of our individual processes, with all the weather that is there and the frozen places. And the signposts there was to look at spaciousness and space and infinity, that there is space for us to feel what we need to feel, that we give ourselves the space, we let our feelings exist, we let them be, we let them move, we let them manifest through the silence. We say crazy things, we let it move in this journey inwards to the promised land. And especially on the level of the heart, there are these moments of doubt. I'm not going in the Red Sea, I will drown, I'll die, I'd rather die like this than risk it. And I think most of us in some way jumped with trust, even if it's with a cry of help to something beyond ourselves. And we can notice on both these levels the affirmation that the more we move this way, the more we come to life, the more intensely we feel. We can feel totally fragmented and in pieces, but there is still a drive behind that. We can cling to a piece of ourselves for a while, but the pull towards wholeness is stronger. The drive towards unity with ourselves than any one fragment that we hold on to. So we moved from consciousness, awakening, seeing our minds, witnessing our thoughts, witnessing even the silence. Moving with our attention to the silence which is there after every sound. The silence is more open almost because it's been penetrated by sound. to the level of feeling, a refinement of the feeling of the silence, the atmosphere of our silence, and noticing its porous. We can fill it with atmosphere, or we can become aware of the quality of silence which releases it to become more pure. And we move down to the drive of love. And the drive of love, love in motion through the layer of awareness, when we expand our awareness, is very connected with unity. Love starts to move and flow through us very fast when we want to bring something which is other into a shared unity. The heart opens to the other. Otherwise love would be still. So love is really about expansion. And in itself is linked up with unity, which is the next layer, the layer of today. The tailbone, the physical unity on the first place. And just as we have eternity and infinity, the signpost in a way, this level, even through physical matter, although it all runs also through the physical, is emptiness. In emptiness we are one. Emptiness is that which allows all this, which we just travelled through, the silence and the feelings and the thoughts and the imagination and the concepts and the movement, it allows it all to happen. You have a cloud, very dense cloud. It can change and transform and expand because of the emptiness within it and the emptiness all around it. If you look to the water, our bodies are 70% water. There's water molecules, not only across our planet, everywhere, within everything, also across the universe, there is water molecules. It's a great unifier, moving by virtue of emptiness. And not only does it move, it transforms its state from the solid state, ice, which has its own rules and rhythms and laws, to the liquid state, the flow between us, the river, to the gaseous state of air, in a circulation. And this is made possible by this unifying, all-present backdrop, which is the emptiness. Now when we look, when we say become conscious now, come into the now, let's be awakened, conscious, unhooked, we have an idea of what we're doing. consciousness. When we invite ourselves to open our awareness and feel the atmospheres, to expand into the atmosphere of ourselves, of the room, of the town, of the country. We have a feeling for what we're doing. The perception through emptiness is more subtle because it's so much part of who we are and what we take for granted and what we're doing all the time. It's very, very real. But what happens in the perception through emptiness is, in a way, the consciousness and the awareness refines. And it begins to realize what's eternal and infinite and what's not. What is there forever, not changing, within ourselves, within who we are, and what is changing and moving. So a first step through emptiness is a conscious one. To become aware, to become conscious of our perspective. Our perspective, for example, in seeing, which is from moment to moment totally subjective. Totally relative. This is before we come to imagination. Even the purest consciousness of seeing is a certain perspective which changes. We just now had many, many different perspectives on Diane.
From this angle and from
There
this
wasn't
angle.
really. We can ask ourselves, where is the truth in what we all just saw?